Attention, bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
Hello, Yodelers. We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I am your host today, Japheth, with
Jackie.
and
La Bafana!
oh, La Bafana. You picked a good character.
Yeah,
You did.
that
That
was
was a good
good.
one. So adjust my microphone right here. Here we go. We, as Peter clued, we are going to be talking about the Santa Claus TV show, since Christmas is this week.
Right. This is probably the fastest review episode we've ever put out. Normally it's like a couple like a month after the things come out.
Yeah.
This is the quickest we've gotten a review episode.
We-
and
we-
it's mostly just because of the season.
The season.
Nobody wants to listen about the Santa Claus TV show
Come February.
in mid-March.
Right.
Yeah,
It
no.
didn't do anything for me this year. I don't get it, you know. The Easter Bunny hops by.
I didn't feel the Easter spirit.
I needed more Tooth Fairy in this one. So no, we're gonna talk about the. I like to think of it as the Santa Claus 4 movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just extended it
Fair.
an extra hour, what
Yeah.
it would be. So we have Scott Calvin. He's back as the Santa Claus. Tim Allen. He is, like I said,
He is the Santa.
he is my Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And then you have Carol Calvin, you know, his wife, Mrs. Claus from the second movie, and the two kids, Cal, or Buddy, that was the name he was given when he was born in
Right.
Santa Claus 3, and Calvin, so it's kind of weird he's Calvin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe it's an homage to Wilson from
Oh.
Home Improvement.
Could be.
Maybe.
It would have been funny the whole movie. They didn't show his like lower
He
half
had
of
it.
his mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they have Sandra.
Yeah, she's new.
She is new. Oh yeah, the son's new too. It's not like it's the original.
Right.
I mean, but they did well. I mean, it's been 16 years since the last Santa Claus movie, so it's kind of believable.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like Top Gun Maverick and like Goose's son is now in the Navy and
Right.
and this was in the 80s. And
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, wait a second.
I think he's actually 50, and so I was like, wow, they're doing great.
Yeah.
Considering that Tom Cruise has had a 40-year career in the Navy.
I know.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Santa Claus. Back to Santa
Back
Claus.
to Santa Claus.
Fun fact:
Wait,
Sandra.
spoilers or?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sandra is Tim Allen's real life daughter.
Yes.
Aww.
Could you see it now? Like I saw it, and I was like, "Yep, that's her."
That's sweet.
I remember hearing that she was gonna play his actual daughter in the show beforehand, so I thought that was cool.
That was good. I thought that was fun. And then you're introduced to Betty. She's the head elf, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's the new Bernard.
The new Bernard.
But Bernard wasn't in like the second movie or the third
Third
movie?
movie.
Third
movie. Who was the head elf in the third movie?
I forget his name.
Was it the
Oh,
kid
it was-
from The Kid? With the
Oh
white person?
yeah,
yeah.
it was the kid from the kid.
Yeah, the
The kid from the kid.
The
Who's-
kid for
who
the kid.
plays the kid.
The kid, exactly. Peter knew exactly what I was talking about, and we're gonna move on. And then you have Noel, who is Santa's helper. He's new.
Noel.
Noel. Yeah.
Noel.
Oh, no, not Noel. It's Noel.
just Noel.
Just Noel. Okay. It's like New Orleans.
Yes.
Santa's-
Molasses rolling off the
Oh,
top.
This was Santa's best friend.
He
Or-
was best. It's his. Santa is his best friend.
Yeah, Santa is his best
And
friend.
then you have Simon Chotsky and Grace Chotsky, his daughter. And then there's Belafana, the
Lava
Christmas
Fauna,
Lava
yes.
Fauna, yeah, the Christmas witch. It's like you got a broom, right?
Which
You're-
you can actually see in the Disney parks.
Yep, she'll be at the
Oh, really?
Italian Pavilion
Yep, she's at the Italy Pavilion.
because each year in Epcot they do a Santa Claus from each one.
Each one.
And
yeah.
her if you obviously don't go to Epcot during Christmas time to see it, look it up online. It's actually a very entertaining show. She's as much as she's entertaining in the TV show, she's entertaining as a live performer at Epcot too.
Italy always. Oh, there's that classic when we went in '92. That Italian show
yeah.
was great. So I think that's all Italy has to provide is their pizza from.
Oh, they got the perfume shop.
Oh
that
yeah,
smells
and the
real
mask,
strong.
the little
yeah.
like, mask, and then you're left with Gary, the security guard,
Oh,
the jaded.
gosh.
So we'll talk more about him.
I have opinions.
I'm sure. Oh wow, Jackie's got the opinion.
Jackie's gonna be the negative one this episode.
I hate Christmas.
Hey, lay off the syrup. Getting a little too heavy there. Okay, so 6 episodes. Before the spoilers, yay or nay?
They.
Yay.
I say yay. It works for me.
Yep.
All right, and so like I said, 6 episodes, and it takes 29. It takes place 29 years after the first Santa Claus movie, and it's like as soon as they said that, I was like, oh my gosh,
Right.
I feel older.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I remember them when it first came out. So yeah, it's very.
I saw it in a double header with Santa Claus and then the Jungle Book, the live action one.
Oh
Oh.
that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
the one that's like
You
The one
can't find
you-
it anywhere.
You had to find on like
I bought it on Amazon, and then they took it away from me.
it's
Thanks, Amazon. Appreciate that one.
probably like sitting on Stars or something like that. That's where everything I want to watch is sitting in. It's like, who has the rights to this one? Oh, Stars. Oh, great. All right.
So, all right, we start off, shorter list for Santa going around. Santa stops at, the lactose intolerant Sarah. Did that
Yeah.
get you right
That
there?
was
Oh
awesome.
yeah, I loved that. When
That
they
was
did
great.
like a flashback to the original movie, and then
It was like, oh, you know how to get those millennials back into
Yep.
this. You sucked me right in.
Oh yeah. That
it's
was,
a way.
it was
Yeah,
great.
it was definitely a trick shot for those millennials.
And it really got those millennials that are stuck on mom and dad's couch.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, whoa, that got a little too close.
She's just not sleeping on the couch for Christmas Eve. She's sleeping on the couch because that's where she lives.
Yeah.
Oh, how her story turned south fast.
It did get a little depressing right
Well,
there. The
you
Polly
know,
Pocket potty party.
Something I could appreciate with this series was like they didn't sugarcoat that as far as like the reality of Christmas today.
It was a good moment because it shows you that Christmas can come to those who are, not in the best place to celebrate
Yeah.
Christmas.
Right.
No one wants to be celebrating Christmas, all alone on your couch watching Judge Judy.
Right. Who's still on the air.
When they pay you as much as they pay Judge Judy,
Yeah.
you go. You make fun of those dumb people and need rulings. All right, so we learn that elves don't lie. But then in the next episode, an elf
Elves
died. Not died,
I
lied.
was like, whoa, I missed that.
you didn't see that one? It was in the background. It's like Wizard of Oz.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Again, this was a really dark series. No, it wasn't. It was good. There's like I Love Satan in there later. No. So yeah, you find out elves don't lie, gnomes lie, and that Christmas is their purpose. And we find out later on, if they lose hope, poof, they're gone.
Yeah,
It's
that
like
was kind of
it's
a,
like Infinity Wars, like Marvel, like the
Oh,
big
it totally
snap.
was.
You lose hope, and Thanos is there. It's like, poof, you're gone.
Yeah.
That would have been funny. Every time one poofs, we should have Thanos like in the
His,
background stabbing his finger.
Yeah.
That would be good.
I mean, they brought in the Yuleverse, and I was all like, "Oh, well done,"
That
like,
was awesome.
That was
that
the
is the best
episode.
episode. We'll get to it. So we get Santa, and you get this feeling with Santa Claus or Scott that he's getting kind of like burned out. He's losing hope, and it's not the same. He's been doing it for 28 years. Most people retire.
Yeah.
And like you get a little like taste of it when they're doing the list, and they're like the naughty good list.
Oh yeah, when it gets like, politically right or like
there's no brat shaming. Is that what it
Yeah.
was?
Right.
Yeah.
something
And then
like
like, oh, he has ADHD. It's not his fault that he disrupts the class, and so you can just see like Santa's like, this is so much harder.
that. Yes.
Yeah, and then you get introduced to Simon. He actually sees Santa, and then at the end, Santa falls off the roof.
Yes.
The biggest fear, right?
That
Takes
was
you back
it.
to episode 1.
To the first movie, that was always his big fear. Like when he came back, he's like, "How am I not gonna fall off the roof?"
Yeah, they're all like, "Yeah, you're good with the fireplaces," and then he kept emphasizing, like, "I don't want to fall off the roof."
Right.
And so it gets us to the second episode of the Secessus clause. Is that what it was?
The secession.
Yeah, it was very difficult to.
Right.
So I have a question with the first episode.
Okay.
I feel like the timeline was totally wrong. So like the first episode, you're like first scene is like Santa on Christmas
Eve.
Yeah.
doing a run, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it shows the one scene of like the dad and the daughter, right?
Mhm.
And the dad's like on a call or something, and
Yeah.
he lands on the roof and it's shaking. He's like freaking out, right? So that's one Christmas, right? And then
Yeah,
like
that's 28 years ago. And then we get bumped into 29 years. So it's 28 years when he
first
visits
gets on the roof.
Yeah, when he goes to visit.
And then he
the
goes
Sarah
there
girl.
next again to
Right.
Sarah.
Yeah.
She's the same age.
That's a good point. Sarah, that
That is fair.
Gracie did not age
That's
well.
at all.
Yeah, she didn't age well in the sense of she didn't grow up.
And then
I didn't realize a good catch.
yeah, and then they
There's-
land on the
this
house
is-
the 1 year, and then it wasn't until the following year till she went to the North Pole.
Yeah, they woke up.
This is Jackie's nerd moment where she's like, different age.
I was just like, wait a minute, this does not make any sense. So
That's a good point.
That's
I
valid.
didn't catch that.
Yeah.
They should have another Gracie, and then the next week they're like, "Wait, what happened to the other Gracie? That's weird. I don't like that. Go back to that." So yeah, we'll go to episode 2. Santa learns he can retire, and then everyone gets excited within the family of like, "Whoa, wow, I get to meet a crossing guard and and hide bills."
oh yeah, his virtual reality where he's just like
He's mowing a
doing
lawn in
normal
Iowa.
things, getting the mail.
Everyone
Yeah.
dreams like, what would the North Pole be like? And they was like, what's Iowa gonna be like?
Right. What's the most mundane things in life?
Yeah. So we're learning that the Christmas magic is dwindling. I missed that in episode 1 where he's like, yeah, my magic's not working. And he's like, well, at your age, magic doesn't work. And I was like, this is like one of those like testosterone kind
Right.
of commercials. When the magic doesn't just get you up anymore. I
Right.
was like, oh, well
yeah.
done. You pulled the adults into this like
Right.
poking fun at your age. Okay, so back to so the Christmas magic is dwindling. You go see the doctor, and he goes on this like, well, I'm gonna work really hard to not work out.
Yeah,
And
I
you see
love
a
that.
smoothie,
That
and
was
he's just
great.
pouring all sorts of garbage in there, and you're like, ugh.
I love this when he's at the doctor and he's like, I haven't even made any toys. She's like, oh, that sounds great for the Christmas children. And he's like, no, they also are making the toys.
And then it ends with like, with him deciding to retire. They're starting to summon, and then that's where Simon is summoned and wake up with Simon and Grace, his daughter, at the North Pole.
Yeah, I thought it was fun to like see the interview of Santa Claus, like them trying to interview Santa Claus.
Do you know who was interviewing the first person? Did you recognize him?
He's the
In the third episode, he was interviewing someone before he interviewed Simon.
who's the football player.
He was a football player.
Yeah.
Okay, Peyton Manning. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah, it's a fun.
The
scene.
pull in. He's got a good TV personality. I remember
Yeah.
from SNL
Oh,
where he
yeah.
was doing the like helping like unfortunate kids, and he was like the worst influence.
Oh,
like
yeah. He was so mean.
he was like playing like, let's play football, and he's like screaming at them like they're adults, and he threw one, and he made one stand in the porta john, taught them how to like break like into a car. So after that, Peyton Manning was cool in my book, teaching kids how to
Right.
break into cars and picking up women. I was like, this guy knows how to do it. So I thought he was going to
He'll
be a great.
Santa Claus.
I thought he was going to be a great Santa, but he just didn't make the cut.
That was funny. I wish they did more though. I wish they had a
did.
couple more.
I did enjoy like when they brought Charlie into it for one scene.
They did bring Charlie back because they were like, oh, well,
pass on the legacy.
yeah, that was good to see Charlie, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh wow, he's a dad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Charlie's a dad, and it's like, okay, all right.
I thought it's funny that he hadn't told his wife, and his wife's all like, "We are not being.
We're
what
not
was it?
moving like Iceland
Or
or
we're not moving to Greenland
Oh, yeah.
and shrimp farming.
Shrimp farming."
He's like,
yeah.
you didn't tell her, but I don't. I just told you based off of what was nearby when we were eating. I don't shrimp farm. So yeah, does the interview. You meet Gary, the last of the elves, the ones that help break out Santa.
Yes, because there's been no crime since he's been Santa.
He's just runs
I,
a
I
good
miss the elves with
attitude. He was the last one. That's Gary.
Yeah.
Because he's getting too old for that shift. I love that. And then he's all like, oh, fudge it cuts. That's why we're all down. That was like, oh, you are very clever and witty with
Right.
your close to bad words for a PG show.
Right.
Yeah.
So that made me chuckle, just all those fun things. Do we like the character?
No.
He had moments that were entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like sometimes they took the character a little too far.
Yeah.
But he also was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It was the voice. It was like the forced, like deep.
It's
It
like
was-
Marge's sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like too forced. I was like, why does he have to have like such like an old 80-year-old smoker voice?
Can do for this game.
Well, I mean, you ask a child to sound like an older person, that's what they're gonna sound like. If I go
Yeah,
up to my son
that-
and be
that
like,
jaded
talk
person."
like an old person, and be like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr."
I'm gonna ask your child this now.
I would be interested to
He's
see
like, I
it.
sound like Dad, don't I?
Well, he would be like, he would just start yelling. I sound like that now.
Oh. So we get introduced to Gary, and then we move on
Yeah.
because that's right, we had to find Grace because Grace had run away with Sandra, and they went to the Wobbly Woods where we meet
La Bafana.
La Bafana.
She was fantastic.
I wanted more of her.
Oh,
I wanted
yeah.
more of her story because like I feel like it was just cameos, and I was just like I want a little bit more.
It was fun to know. Yeah, like it was good to at least get something outside. Like there's more to.
Right.
There's
yeah.
more to the North Pole.
Yeah.
And they're like that there's other people, and I love how the elves are scared. Like there's a witch out there, and she's like, I'm not a witch, and I loved how Scott was trying to convince.
It's like, and you fly around using what?
and you're
A
magical.
broomstick.
Well, it's so hard for a warlock to co-sign at the time for a sleigh. And I was like, well done, well done. They do the last Christmas farewell, and that's where we see the "We Love You, Santa" or Satan controversy after
I
that.
know.
Those who are not fans of Disney are like,
Ate
I knew
that up.
I knew it. They're
They're sending a message. They love Satan.
they want your children to love Satan.
The funny thing is, you guys say this. I had not heard any of this.
It was.
Oh,
I had
It
not
popped up
heard
on the
about
news here
controversy.
and there because they just want to create
I was
fake
on-
outrage.
Sure.
it's all over TikTok.
It's just people that want to be angry, and there's those people that just don't like Disney, and like
Oh, yeah.
there's like one guy's like, I was drinking out of a Mickey cup, and then the reflection of Mickey upside down said wicked.
Oh, I saw that.
and I was like,
really?
and I got rid of all my Disney stuff. I will not have
know.
that devil in my life.
I know.
And then I saw the Satan thing, and I was all like, well, that's not gonna feed it really well. That won't feed the paranoia of it. So
I feel like this movie was also like picking fun at the fans a little bit.
which fans?
Just general like critical like critic fans
Okay.
with
like
like
people like us. who overanalyze things. And
Yeah.
go, that girl didn't age for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, it says they love Satan, it's, or, there was another one. Oh, like when they were, like, going through the naughty and nice list of, like, oh,
They throw some PC stuff in there.
yeah.
And then the silliness of it. So we end off with Santa and his family going back to Chicago. They're back. And Simon loses the coat first day, right?
Mm-hmm.
The coat disappears.
He disappears.
Coat's like,
which he
bye.
never put on.
He never put on,
He
so that's
never put
that's
on.
critical for the end, because he didn't Santify, excuse me. And it didn't turn into Santa, and I like his little makeshift Santa, like cotton balls
Oh,
on
yeah.
the shirt. We got rid of Casual Friday 300 years ago. So this scene at the coffee shop, I had an experience like that when I left the Disney bubble, where
Oh, yeah.
Scott's like, he goes up to a kid,
Talking
he's all,
to kids.
he's
Oh,
like,
yes.
"Oh, Lucas, I knew you loved that present." If like some stranger came up to your kid, you'd be like, no, I don't think so."
It's
Accurate.
true.
And I had that same experience when I left Disney, where like you could talk to kids and it's okay. It's actually
Right.
encouraged, like make them feel
Get
part of the
down
experience.
on one knee and talk face to
Exactly.
face.
Well,
and-
I was working pest control, and I was all like, "Oh, you got a Disney shirt. What's your favorite?" And the mom's like, "Oh, honey, you need to go to your room." Like, and I was like, "Oh, I can't talk to kids anymore. I'm the scary guy that comes into your house and sprays poison, and no longer acceptable in here." So
Not an appropriate role model anymore.
It's so true because I remember like after I left Disney, it was like I don't know. I was like, "Oh, hi, little princess," and I was like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't say this in public."
oh look, a little princess.
Yeah.
There's the Calvin family that go to the school. What does Carol do? Goes into principal mode.
Oh yeah.
Throwing people in detention for running. My goodness, she's very
Well, if you remember her from the second movie, she was kind of a strict.
She was,
she
but
was a very
running
strict-
in the hallway. Come on.
Well, like at the beginning of the series, like it shows her struggle of identity. Like, because when she left and joined and
Yeah.
become Mrs. Claus, like she lost her original identity.
She did, and I think that they do a good job with like addressing her issues with being Miss
Yeah.
Claus. Like, what's your first name? And you're like, Santina. And they're like, you want me to call you that? And you're like, no. So it was good to see everyone adjust well there, and Scott was the only one that kind of
He
struggled.
couldn't. He
Yeah.
couldn't adjust.
Yeah.
And it was, you get introduced to Cal's future girlfriend, I guess. I don't know.
Future Mrs. Claus.
Future Mrs. Claus. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he had
He
a...
didn't wipe the memories. So.
I don't think so. We'll get to that at the end
See
right
if
there.
She shows up later.
Yeah, I think that if you're with the second season, I think that
Oh,
storyline will pop
You kind
up.
of have to. I mean, they kind of set it up for it. I mean,
Mhm.
you obviously knew before the series started that they had already greenlit season 2, and they were just waiting for the season to end for them to be like, "Oh, look, season 2's out. Season 2's gonna come out."
And you do need Christmas like material
Oh,
to
yeah.
suck people in.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, this year there was a lot of content for Christmas. I thought that came out that we didn't even address in our podcast. Like they just popped up, and you're like, "Oh,
Oh, like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
totally missed that." Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
Watch.
It's
That
really
was
good.
yeah,
That was,
yeah.
That was
I haven't watched it yet, so
Oh,
I
it's
I
good.
keep going. My wife was like, "I don't know, we really need to watch this." We'll watch it, but Too Hot to Handle's on right now, and I'm like, "Oh, you're right, more garbage." Yeah, so the families adjust, and then there's the elves are starting to disappear because they're losing hope because Simon is changing everything.
He's making
Christmas-
Christmas every day.
Exactly, CED.
This is a jab at Amazon.
Well, it's not free.
Yeah.
So yeah, you start to see like, oh, maybe we like the new modern way of thinking isn't the best way to handle Christmas.
I thought it was funny how like Scott actually got a part-time job to like use up his time
As a delivery driver.
as a delivery driver for the company.
Yeah. I was like, well, yeah.
I thought that was
I
funny.
was this company, and now I am working for this company in the lowest position. Yeah. I know people that who like are like in high positions and they retire and they go to another like city and they go into the lowest position that they used to like rule over. They rule. That's how I look at my bosses. Rule them all. Yeah. So we end with Noel. He leaves for Scott, and then the coat we find is with
La Bafana.
yeah.
It found its way. It moves on its own.
Yeah, it moves on its own.
Did you not find that creepy
It
in
was a
episode
little-
6 when it's
It
like
was a little
moving?
creepy.
I was like, oh, is this like same magic of Doctor Strange's coat?
I was thinking
or
that.
like cloak?
Well, Santa Claus is considered a mutant in the Marvel universe. He is a mutant.
And that kind of gets us into the Yuleverse, right? Like
Ooh.
we get Bernard. This
Hallelujah.
episode,
Was the best.
best episode. I got the warm
Yeah.
and fuzzies. This I was like, I don't even need to watch the last episode because you know it's like it's gonna be resolved and it'll have a
Yeah.
warm and fuzzy ending. But this one, just like it, like
This was the
explains Santa
climax.
Claus. Like I'm even just talking about it, I'm getting like goosebumps thinking about it. It was so good.
It was a great episode.
Do you like how they brought up like, hey Bernard, you look old? You know, like
He's like,
because he's like he
Oh.
looks like a 50-year-old
Yeah,
man.
and he's like, "Oh, I gave up my elf magic to marry an 80-year-old woman or something like
I wish,
that."
like, apparently she was like some Academy Award winning actress or something like that.
Oh, I
I don't
had no
know. Like I
idea.
think somebody had mentioned that in there. I just never could catch the name. It was so quickly like brushed over.
It's like, yeah, I know there's an age difference, but you know,
We love each other.
Yeah, because he's like 500 years old. and-
older than that.
Yeah, and I think you're close. I think it was around like 15, 16,
Yeah.
100 years old. But we go back and we meet Santa 17, you know.
Right.
And then we learn of the history of Santa. I mean, they even brought in Krampus.
I loved Krampus.
Most people don't.
He was just like,
I'll
I
come
have
and
the
steal your
Dark
toys.
Ages.
I'll come and steal your toys. You know, you didn't think the Dark Ages are hard? Well, now you've been acting poorly, so I'm going to take your toys.
Right.
But that was good to bring in the different aspects of.
The different Santa
Of
stories
Santa's
you
stories.
hear.
Well, you got
It
got
makes-
added lore to the Santa Claus series. You found out that why Scott was chosen to begin with, and that he was the first human to take on the role. Like that was great.
Because it's right here. Heartburn? Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone has that. No, the heart. That was, and like that was really sweet when the kid's like, "Well, I want to give this to my friend." It's all about the spirit about giving, and he goes, "Oh, the pot, the pot cooker's for my mom," and I was like, "Oh, that's really sweet when you
Right.
have a kid that just wants to give." My daughters are like, "Ma, I'll just take
Yeah.
whatever."
Yeah.
She doesn't say I want. She just says like mine. But like that's Dad's car keys. He needs to go to work now. mine. So it was a really good. I thought it was a really good sequence. It brought me back into the show. Like
I love the part where all the other Santas are like, being like, "Oh yeah, like he's not that great," and then Bernard comes in, he's like, "You were all hard to work
and
with.
that's what's
Yeah.
great about Bernard. Just brutally
Just
honest.
blunt.
You all sucked. Like he was the best." And agreed, he is the
Yeah.
best.
So in there, when all the elves are disappearing, like they go back to the North Pole, Gary is wearing a Hershey Kiss.
Yes, I saw that. You only see it for like a brief
It's
moment,
brief,
but
and I didn't realize it till like I watched
because
the last episode, and then I was like, okay, we got the episode today.
Hat.
It's
Yeah.
a tinfoil hat. He's a conspiracy theorist, and it protects you. And I was like, because when I saw episode 6 and he disappears after Noel takes it off.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, why? What's the big deal? And then I was all like, oh, he's a conspiracy theorist. And I get it. You're all jaded and drinking the maple syrup. You may do that. So yeah, the episode ends where everyone's gonna get back, and find out the kids have magical powers. Oh, I totally glossed over. Scott's the first human. You mentioned it.
Yeah.
Scott is the first human, and then the powers will be passed through the kids, and we
Right.
see
Through
the kids
generations, yeah.
like throughout they had powers, but it's
Yeah.
like officially we know them to have it now, and they use them to get back with going through the portals, which was another thing. The Santa Claus like, how does he travel around the world so quickly? And
How do
and-
the reindeer fly? You know, It's
Exactly.
actually any animal can fly as long as you get them properly motivated.
I just want my dog not to pee on the carpet. Could you do that for me? I believe.
I do not want my dogs learning how to fly. What they'll pee on.
Yes, never mind. I don't believe in you flying. Because they brought in that bee theory, right?
Yes.
We're like, well, it's proven, since like those little wings really can't lift you, so the bees believe they can fly. And I was like, oh my gosh.
This
So
is
that's all I have to do is believe. I just need a happy thought and some.
Don't try, please.
So we're gonna get up on your roof, Jackie, and we're gonna believe together.
No. You can go
How is your homeowner's insurance?
you can stand on a bed and jump if you like.
That's not true, believing.
No, that's have you ever seen, The Dark Knight Rises? You can't have the safety rope.
You gotta take off the
You gotta
rope.
take off the rope and jump.
And then we'll have the beating drums as we're in the pit of death, the prison.
Yeah.
This is turned really dark.
That's the whole point of the Dark Knight as he rises.
Let's go back to Happy Christmas.
I want Christian Bale as my next Christmas. Where's the present? Where is it?
That would be awesome.
Or where's the stocking?
Go back to bed.
We start seeing the Joker,
Right.
stole the Batmobile. It would be like we've been.
Is the Joker the Grinch then?
I don't know. What would it be? It could be,
Yeah.
but he needs them. He established that in the Dark Knight.
Yes.
You need me. Okay, so we'll finish off with the last episode. Santa escapes the licorice jail after he was captured by the killer drones.
All right, I got some logic.
All right, here we
this.
go.
All right, here
They're
we
like,
go.
oh, we're so sick eating all this licorice. I was like, you just have to chew the top and the bottom, and it comes apart.
Yes, I did have the thought of well, you didn't actually have to eat it. You can just
Just
bite
Just
it.
not and spit it out.
Spit it out.
Yeah, that's what I would do with black licorice. I don't know if any of you guys developed the taste for it.
No.
Yeah. It's that bitter flavor is not.
I was
didn't
with
think-
the elf that says, do you have any red
Cal
licorice?
says that.
Cal, it was
Yeah.
Cal.
Yeah, Cal says
red
that, and then he
licorice.
disappears. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, there it is.
yeah.
Yes, and so they go off to find. They feel they need to find the coat. They realize that's where the magic is, and so Cal ends up having group therapy with the drones.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was a fun. I was
That
like,
was a weird turn.
okay, well, I mean, this is a Santa Claus movie. There's a lot of magic. Why not?
Sure.
I did
Robots
like
have feelings too.
they brought the toy soldiers, the tall ones,
For
back
number 2.
from
Yeah,
number 2.
that was great.
That was awesome.
And then
There were a
Carol
lot
had
of
it.
callbacks
Yeah.
to the other movies.
It would have been funny if they had the other, what would have been good if Simon was going to get overthrown by the
Jack Frost.
no, yeah, that would be funny. Jack Frost comes back. Speaking of that, he got called out on SNL. He's all like, I feel your career died after Jack Frost, or knows, I wish you died before you were in your last role of Jack Frost.
Oh,
It was
right.
like a eulogy roast, and because they were both holding Steve Martin
Right.
and Martin Short, and so it was funny just to see them. So that got a little shout out right there. So yeah, Carol got to kick some butt because she's a little lady.
Granted, you didn't get to see most
You didn't
of
get
it.
to see
You
it.
just got to see the body parts fly around.
It was obviously a budget cut.
Yeah,
They didn't want to
the
pay
Hulk
for the CGI.
and the Santa Claus were filmed at the same
Not
time.
the CGI, just the choreography of the stunt double.
They probably recorded it and they're like, this doesn't look good.
Right.
Yeah, we'll pass on this one. And then Simon wanted to burn the coat. They had the coat run off, and then he grabs
Oh,
it, and the coat
yeah.
smacks him in the face, and he's like, "I'm the good guy." And I can't help but think that like the guy going, "Are we the baddies?
Right.
Everyone loves me."
Right.
Do they? Do they? And it's bad when your daughters are like, "Are we the bad guys?"
Right.
She was the only thing keeping Christmas
Yeah,
alive with her
she
little
was
rub.
the only Christmas spirit.
So she did it. And then who shows up? La.
Oh, La Befana.
Yeah, she shows up. It was nice to see her right there. And then, what was it? How did they save it? With a group hug.
Yes.
A group hug saved Christmas.
That's it.
Na, na, na. It's like kind of like the end of the Grinch, where they that's how Christmas spirit was solved. And then they, I liked how the women were talking about the Yule verse, like, so all men, huh? It's like she's like Santa Claus. You look at her, she comes in at the night and puts toys and candies in the stockings.
Yep.
And it's like, boy, she got gypped out of that Yule verse. The old boys club right there.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even talk about it. Here's a theory for you right there. We're in the Yule verse.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, Santa calls them the ethereals. And someone goes like, yeah, they're eternal beings. And I'm like, oh, maybe they are like the Eternals. Maybe that could have saved the movie, is having a bunch of Santa Clauses save the world.
The Eternal movie, yeah.
The movie where like, how does this movie connect? Don't worry, we'll have in the background of Thor.
Yeah, honestly.
They'll pop their head out at the big Zeus meeting.
Right.
But in the end, it had a happy ending where Santa gives the world snow globes with their Christmas
That was
hope
nice.
and joy. And I was like, that's a good way of solving it after there were no toys made. And they're like, well, here's something you forgot.
Right. Something that nobody asked for.
Yeah, he laughed about that. It's like, everyone's getting a bunch of stuff they didn't ask for under the tree. And it's like, yep, everyone's gotten that gift for you. Like, thank you so much. I'm going to put this under the bed. And then 3 years I can donate it to...
So I have a question for y'all. Maybe you
Okay.
can help me understand the overall story
Okay.
of this series. So what was the initial problem at the beginning?
Scott
Was losing magic.
He was losing magic because he forgot what Christmas was about,
Is that why?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
and that he
I miss what the reason was. Why I just knew that he was losing magic, and then we got to the end, and there was just like, oh, we're just gonna hug, and then it's all better.
that was to get the Christmas spirit. Christmas spirit wasn't in danger. It was all within him. He had it to find a way to bring, Christmas back. He had to believe in it
okay.
and not give up on. Yeah, it's hard right now, but you're still responsible for that.
There was a part that they explained in the Yuleverse. Something that always bothered me about the first Santa Claus was that, like, in the first Santa Claus movie, Charlie comes there and they're like, "Oh, we haven't made any advances in hundreds of years. Like, we've done so much," and it's all like, really, like, you're magical elves and you couldn't come up with new technology. But then they explained that was an issue that Santa was running into was technology, and they didn't know how to incorporate that, and so that's how they tied that back in. I was like, oh, that's nice.
That was
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I think that's what it was. The movie
Okay.
was about Scott.
Okay.
It was, and that's where the Yuleverse kind of like shakes him. Was like, hey, it's about you, Christmas, and so all wrapped around it. And then it also brought him like closer to his family. It wasn't just
Yeah.
about him. Like
It was incorporating.
he needed
his
to bring his
family.
family into it and preparing the next generation for it. And that's probably what season 2, which I hope is in a few years. I really don't want one next year.
I don't
see.
think so.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I just want them a little bit older or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you like Cal's like scary, like Santa like Spartan mask kind of thing?
Oh
Is
yeah,
where-
I was like, what? Am I
what's
looking
going
at?
on? You got like this Santa ninja that
Yeah.
pops down. He's like, no, don't do that. He's like, too much? Yeah. That's
Yeah.
too much.
I don't know. I think this series, I didn't have like a great like.
You said nay.
I did say nay.
So it's one of those like
I
can see why you're
didn't-
like I don't want another season.
I mean, I didn't get much from this season or this series. Overall, I'm just like, meh, I can.
You didn't like all the little nuggets of like the secrets or what makes Christmas with Santa. Like I like the little details that feed the story and like explains it.
I think it probably would have been better if I just like binged it all at once.
And that's what I binged everything but the last episode.
Yeah, so I watched it like week by week, and I almost wish I probably would have enjoyed it more if it was a movie.
And I would probably agree with that. I think it would
Yeah.
have done better as a movie than a TV series.
Just because it was like all the little nuggets were great, but like you forget about it.
I think so because I watched them week by week with my family, and it was nice. Like, oh, a Christmas Story in between, Love Island and Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah.
So, or the Real Housewives of Salt Lake. So I mean, it was nice to get some Christmas spirit between the cat fights.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. And this, I was like, could they have made this just a long movie, and we would have
Yeah.
just had to grin and bear?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know they're usually only maybe like 90 minutes, but like this was 3 hours. I binged the whole thing at noon to before we started recording this afternoon.
Right.
And I did like the binge aspect better the second
Yeah.
go around. I was like, oh, I see it. Like, well, it was good just to have the whole story, know where you're going, and then to see little details that I wanted more information on and clarity on.
Yeah. Do you guys think this series is rewatchable?
Yes.
Yes, because I did.
Yeah.
Would I have watched it again if I didn't have to for the podcast? I probably will watch it.
You think you'll watch it?
I'd
like,
watch it
next
over.
year?
I'd watch it over Santa Claus 3.
Really?
Yeah, it's way better than Santa Claus 3.
Agreed.
I disagree with that.
The Yuleverse saves.
Absolutely.
It
That's
saves
the
the
only
whole-
saving.
But you know what?
I would disagree with that. I think there's a lot of saving.
Yeah,
with it.
I mean,
I didn't care for the kids, to be honest.
the Santa Claus kids.
No, I didn't.
They grew on me. I
Yes,
didn't like them
correct.
because they point out like these kids are weird, and I think they
They're
do that on
weird,
purpose to
yeah.
like.
I think-
we don't like weird people in
As-
society.
because they acknowledge the fact that these kids are weird, I was able to accept them easier.
I agree. It didn't bother me as much. And then
'Cause I
they grow
agree,
on you
'cause-
once they
'cause-
normalized in
Because the
society.
first scene that you see them in, I was always like, okay, this is what we're gonna have to deal with, and then they go, yeah, your kids are weird.
We've done a study that humans being raised. Well, how many people have done this? You're like two.
Two.
So yeah, I agree. It was, yeah. So
Yeah.
I can see us going.
I do like the little joke. He says, "Are we gonna tell him about the Mrs. Claus?" No, I'm gonna leave that.
Oh,
yeah.
Later.
That was fun with Simon.
But then what's gonna happen? There's two kids. Are there gonna be two Santa Clauses?
It's gonna be a family thing.
I think it's a group thing now.
Oh.
You have to work together.
That I think that was kind of the message. Before it was just Santa going out and doing things, and he wasn't spending time with his family, and now he has to do it with his family because Santa Claus isn't just one person; it's
Yeah.
a family thing.
And Christmas is not just a one-person thing.
It's true.
It really takes a family to make Christmas special. Even though as much as everyone wants to like, I got to do this, like
It's
as
a
a
good
parent,
message.
and then in the end, it like
It
what
was
made
a
it enjoyable.
fantastic message at the end.
That
And,
was
like-
another like meta like.
Oh yeah.
Just speaking with
message.
you both, like, and describing that, I'm like, I never got that when I watched it the first time. So maybe I have to rewatch it to get the overall meaning. But I feel like it should have done that the first time.
Oh, for you,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I can't.
I think it's just a personal thing.
I think it's something I really picked up the second go around, going all the way through. And so with some of these shows, like Willow started, and I'm kind of like, I watched the first 2 episodes, and I'm like, oh, this is good. But I'm like, this is a journey. I kind of just want to flow with the
Right.
journey. I want to take a nap on my journey. I kind of just want to just go with it.
Yeah.
And so people complain like, oh, the episode viewership is so low, like an Andor, and like, like, here's the Star Wars show you always wanted, and you're not watching the episodes. It's like, well, I kind of just want to flow through it. I love that aspect on Netflix, and then they're like, oh no, we don't want to do that anymore. We're gonna pause it throughout.
I think they
chunk it out.
I think there are some shows you need that,
Yes.
and there are others you don't. This was not one that
Right.
that they should have spaced out.
I think it was a bad pick to do as a show. I think it definitely should have been. It would have been a lot better as a movie.
I don't think I would have gotten as much from it if it was a movie because it would be too long. It's not Avatar where it's like 3 hours and I was like, I need an intermission. I'm going to go to the bathroom 3 times in this movie. All right. I don't want to do that with the Santa Claus movie. You know, we want that quick in and out. And I just.
Or even if they did like longer episodes and did less episodes.
I guess you could have done that. You could have done 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And just release it that way. The first 2 would have been a good one. And then you have like like in the real world, and then you have like the Yuleverse.
Yeah.
The return. That would have worked for me.
I think that would have been better.
Okay, I can bite on that. Solve that problem.
Hear that, Disney?
You're welcome, Bob.
So for
Iger.
you, so right, which Bob? Yes. So for you, Jackie. So does this rank? So out of the 4, so the 3 movies and this series, is this 4 for you?
This is 4.
Oh wow.
I think
I
it
love
even
the
competes
first
with number
3.
2.
That's what I'm at.
It's like the only thing I like about number
Really?
2
Yes.
is the scene where Scott creates the magic of Christmas for the teachers.
Yes.
And like the sleigh
that
ride.
one's so
I
good.
just like, oh, that was Christmas.
But then you
like,
have Toy Santa.
and then Toy Santa's like, and Tim Allen going, oh, like that, just that like robotic
it was
thing.
fun and cheesy.
You should go.
and
You guys
stuff.
should go back and listen to our episode where we talk all about the other 3 movies. But for me, I think I'm putting this one number 2 on my list.
Oh, it's
No.
it's borderline for
I would
me.
say number 2 because I think the overall, I didn't feel disconnected with the 2 different storylines.
It was 2 different stories.
It
really.
was, but I didn't feel too disconnected from it because they did intertwine with one another. Whereas I feel like in number 2, they were so disconnected. They didn't interact with each other until it's like, oh, we got to go save Santa. We got to go save Christmas because Toy Santa's crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
And I did miss Comet. Do I not?
Right.
I know.
Yeah. No comment.
No
yeah.
comment.
They had different names for the reindeers.
Oh
now.
yeah, they prefer to go by different names.
Oh, that's fun. All right, guys. Any last thoughts with this before we rate it and then close the podcast
No.
or the episode? We're not close
was
the
good.
podcast. Just the episode. Sorry, guys. Panicked you do that for a moment, right? Okay, Jackie. How many Mickey bars are you giving this one?
2.
2. So low. So, of the TV shows that have come out this year, what would you say it's better? You've got like, what was it? The Moonwalker one that Dad calls?
Moonwalker.
Moonwalker.
Yeah.
I
Or She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Is it better than She-Hulk?
yeah. Wait.
Well, you like She-Hulk.
She-Hulk is better.
She-Hulk's better.
Moon Knight.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
So Moon Knight, I wasn't on that episode. I actually really enjoyed that series until the last episode, and it made me really angry, so which brought it down. But I still think it's better than. Still think Moon Knight is better than the Santa Claus.
So is this like your worst series that you're rating this season?
I would say so.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there was any other.
Because you had Miss
worse one.
Marvel this year,
I love
and
that.
we liked it. It was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Endor, and I enjoyed
Boba
Endor
Fett.
and Boba Fett. Yeah,
Okay. So this is the worst one for Jackie.
yeah. And I.
So if you
and
like
for-
Jackie's picks,
and-
you may not like the.
And for the listeners, like, I love Christmas. Like, I am a huge Christmas
All right,
person.
Scrooge. Bah humbug.
Oh, when she drinks her eggnog, her pinky sticks out, and she's like, "Oh my! Did you read the Christmas news today?" No, Jackie's normal. Like I went out on a date with a girl one time, and she was like Molly Shannon from like the second Santa Claus, who loved
Oh.
Christmas so much that I was listening to Christmas music in the car because I was like, oh, let's put on some music. You know what she put on? Christmas music. It was July. It was.
Christmas in
It's a bit
July.
much.
Oh no. But you know where we're at. It is hot.
I know.
And I was like, no, does not work for me. Don't ruin Christmas with like the misery of the summer here. All right. So, yeah, you're not that level.
No.
You're pretty tame.
Yeah. I like Christmas during November, December.
Okay. Peter, what do you got?
I got 4.5.
Whoa.
This was really good for
So
me.
you did 4 Mickey bars. This is like my level of like Rocketeer.
Oh, I think we all did like 5 for
It
Rocket.
was really high. Yeah. I was
But
like,
this was, I think, is a very highly repeatable show. I can see myself coming back to it every year. I enjoyed the journey. The jokes were cute and funny. My kid, it's great.
they did a good job doing
It's
adult
good-
humor
and
and kid humor.
right, there was a good blend. It didn't feel one-sided or the other.
Yeah. I got that. I'm gonna say just I'm at a 3.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.25. You know, I'm like, yeah, I'll say I'm at a 3.25. I don't know if I can really push it at 3.5. There were some characters that bothered me. I didn't like Noel. He drove me up the wall.
I would probably say he was my least favorite character.
Yeah.
He's
He
like
was over the top.
it's like a 6 or 7-year-old kid
It was
that
definitely,
just won't leave you alone.
It
and
definitely screamed Disney Channel.
yes.
Yes.
And that's what bothered me. And then Gary, as ridiculous as he was, like he didn't. It bothered me when he was on the screen too. And that's what
Yeah.
was that kind of knocked me from that 4 was like when you have characters that come on the screen and you're
They
like,
just take you
please
out of it.
stop. I don't want you right now. I just want some peace.
It's like I just want to
That-
focus on Santa Claus, not.
And like Tim Allen's just like it's a solid like performance. He nails
Yes,
it.
he does.
Oh,
And like when he
he's
was at
great.
Santa, I was like, oh no,
I know.
is Tim Allen not doing so well? And I was like, well, how do you think you're gonna look 30 years later? You
Yeah.
know? So I get it. He looks great for his age.
He
does.
It's just I'm so used to seeing him in that jolly face because that's how I see him most of the time. Is that or he's dressed or he's doing the voice of Buzz, and you don't get to see the person that much.
Right.
So, yeah, 3.25. I will probably watch it again, with my kids. You know, they're at the age where my daughter can recognize Santa, and questions will be brought up in the future about the story of Santa, and this just nails it.
It does.
It does. It hits a lot of points of like all the different questions about Santa.
I like you sit and you're like, well, I'm a believer.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Miracle on 34th Street. I got my shirt and I'm just like, I got my pen going like, I'm a believer.
Yeah.
I know, like, Mother Yoder's like, I know. Finally, my kids, they're all in. You know, like, I've got them on tape. They're all saying it. Hear that? So now we get
Yeah.
presents this year.
That's right.
That was one of the rules with Mother Yoder. You have
Yes.
to believe in Santa to get presents.
Uh,
So that's how it is. So, all right. Any last words?
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. We really appreciate you listening to us during this busy time. Hopefully it's just in the background while you're wrapping presents or shopping or doing your job. We do appreciate you.
Yeah.
With that being said, follow us on our social medias,
Yes.
and we do have a merchandise store.
The
and-
link isn't on our social media, so see our social media stuff.
Yeah,
Find the link.
find the link and just be our advertisement.
Yeah.
Treat us like Tommy Hilfiger, with that logo, with our Matterhorn Yoder shirt.
We're gonna become trendy. Oh, you got the new Matterhorn Yodeler shirt.
How scary would
Mine's
that
in
be?
Oh my
blue.
gosh, I can't imagine. Honestly.
We're getting sued because of our the person who did our artwork is like, I didn't officially give that to you. We're like, we're just a non-profit podcast
Yeah,
that
really.
became super trendy. We just want to talk about Disney. And so if you want to continue talking about Disney with us, any question, hit us up on our social media.
Yeah.
We've done
We're
an
always
episode. We've done an episode based off of a
Done a couple.
listener. Yeah, a couple that
We've done a couple episodes based off of recommendations. So
That's true. I did have, I've had a couple too.
Yeah.
From just people just like, oh, let's talk about that. And then they tell me that, oh, yeah, I listened to it. It was really good. Loved your insight on it. So yeah, communicate with us and we will communicate back.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe you'll find yourself on the episode with us.
Yeah, we've had that.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
So, what is that? What else do we have? I don't remember.
That's it.
It's been a while. Should I?
You know what?
Should I be banished?
You're butchering this so much. You're gonna be banned for the next 2 episodes.
2 episodes.
2 episodes.
Can you
you're
make
gonna
it
be
3? You know. And so I just want to say thank you for listening and Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember...
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.